So welcome all. So in this we are going to discuss about the elements of mechanical engineering. Right. So we're going to discuss about the what are the topics that we're going to study the elements of mechanical engineering and what is the necessities to study the elements of mechanical engineering. So elements of mechanical engineering deals with the whether it might be in a sources of energies. We'll go to discuss about the boilers, how the boilers work, what are the different types of boilers, how the boilers will work, what are the different sources of energy, how we going to utilize that sources of energy, whether it might be in a you people have been already studied about the renewable sources of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. Are we going to utilize that renewable sources of energy, in which form we are going to convert that sources of energy to some useful work. Similarly, are we going to utilize the energy sources in the non-renewable sources? So next we're going to study about the boilers, how the boilers will work, and then we're going to deal with the turbines, how the turbines will work, on what basis it will work. So how the machineries of the turbine will able to work with the help of the block diagrams. Then we are going to discuss about the IC engines. So how the inside, so everyone we know that the vehicles will run with the help of the fuel. But how inside the vehicle of the engine, how the processing takes place in order to run the engine, that we are going to discuss. So that is then we are going to discuss about the refrigeration and air conditioning. So how the refrigeration or refrigerator works and how the air conditioning works. So then we are going to discuss about the different types of joining process, whether it might be in a welding, whether it might be in a soldering, or whether it might be in a brazing. Then we are going to discuss about the robotics, industrial robotics and its applications. So in the modern era, what is the role of robotics in the industries and how we can able to utilize or how we going to utilize that is in the industries. So that we will in depth we will going to learn along with the block diagrams. Then we are going to discuss about the lathe machines, the milling and the drilling machines, how the lathe machines will work, what is the use of using the lathe machines in the industries. So all these topics we are going to discuss about in the elements of mechanical engineering. So it is also one of the fundamental subjects to know the basics of all the process or parameters that what I have said earlier. So in the first now we are going to discuss about the sources of energy, that is in the first module. So maintaining the sources of energy, that what we are going to discuss is about the first is what is energy, then the classification of energy sources, that is the renewable energy sources and non-renewable energy sources. Then we are going to discuss about the particularly the renewable energy sources, what are the majorly used energy sources like solar energy, wind energy, along with the block diagrams we are going to discuss this. Then we are going to discuss about the non-renewable energy sources. Then we are going to discuss, then we will discuss about the biofuels, so nuclear fission and fission process biofuels. Then we are going to discuss about the basics of thermodynamics. Then we are going to discuss of the properties of the steam and the laws of thermodynamics and the properties of the steam. Then we are going to discuss about some of the numericals based on the properties of the steam, how the entropy will be there, and the enthalpy will be there, and the temperature gradient. All these things will going to be discussed completely in this sources of energy. So first coming to that, what do you mean by energy? So every human being required energy to do his daily activities or to do daily work. He required an energy. So to get that energy, humans required or humans will have the food based on their necessity. So similarly, to run in a machine, we require an electricity, right? How we going to generate that electricity? So how we going to generate that electricity? So that is also one of the energy. To require a run or to run in a vehicles, we require a fuel. Where the fuel will be extracted and how the fuel will be get. So without the fuel, the vehicles cannot able to run. So without the electricity, the machines cannot able to run. So this is the even to run a machine we require some energy sources. That energy sources, whether it might be a fuel or whether it might be either an electricity. So we require for all the sources we require some energy to run that machine or to run that vehicles. Similarly, how the humans require the food, similar way that the machines also require the fuel or electricity. So then where we are going to get this electricity, or how we are going to be generate that electricity? So that in depth we will going to be discussed. So in the module 1, that is sources of energies, that is what we are going to discuss. Energy sources. So energy it is defined as a capacity to do work for the capacity to do work. It is a primary requirement for day-to-day activities of human beings. Yes. For human beings and animals, they require energy to do their primary or basic activities of all the human beings. That is, we require some energy. So how we going to get the energy is nothing but it is an energy is a capacity to do work. We require some energy. How we going to get that energy is nothing but why will human beings will be having the food. So that is from the food we are going to get the energy to do the capacity energy to do some work. So that is energy is nothing but capacity to do work. So most of that energy that is mainly derived from the conventional energy sources. So what is that conventional energy sources and non-conventional energy sources that will in depth we will going to discuss. So due to the vast demand of energy, the rate of depletion of this resource has been reached alarmingly at low levels. So this situation has directed us to seek some alternative energy sources such as solar, wind, ocean, biomass, ideal energy. Yes. So the main thing is why we need to go for an alternate energy sources is about the increasing populations. So the majorly the increased population in India, especially like countries like in India, we require a huge amount of power has to be developed in order to maintain this all those works or all these activities. So in order to reach the demand, because whenever the population is increased, automatically the supply of the power will be reduced. In order to meet the demand, we require another sources of energy, that is alternate sources of energies. So mainly according to present situation, so mainly we are dependent on the non-renewable sources of energy, but mainly it is dependent upon the thermal energy source. That is, with the help of the burning of the coal, we are generating up to around 68% of energy through what we are using in our countries, completely supplied through generated by the thermal power plant. Remaining 30% is completely dependent on the alternative sources of energies, like by using the solar energy, by using the wind energy, by using the ideal energy or biomass, like all other different alternative energies. By utilizing or by using these energy sources, we are going to generate the power. But the major drawback of this alternative energy is it is only applicable for a seasonal. See, for example, if you take in a solar energy, so the solar cannot be, the sun rays cannot be able to fall completely on a complete day. The maximum of solar radiations can be obtained in a day is that is for 5 to 6 hours with having a full complete radiation. So that similar radiations cannot able to expect on the daily. So that is whenever the rays are falling, using those solar rays, we are extracting and storing that solar energy and we are going to utilize. Even similarly the wind. So wind also cannot be able to get a continuous wind speed throughout the day or throughout the season. So mainly depends upon the season, even like the ideal water, that is hydro power plant. So mainly for a hydro power plant we require water. So water is nothing but mainly we are going to depend upon the rainy season. So like this we are having some of the major drawbacks of alternative energy sources. So by in order to overcome to meet the demand of an energy sources, we are going to utilize this alternate energy sources even in the with respect to their seasons. So mainly this is about the how we going to utilize these energies in order to meet the demand. So majorly when we are discussing to the alternate, that is one more non-conventional drawbacks of a non-conventional energy sources is, so we are going to get in a fuel or petroleum products what we are going to use, and we are going to use the thermal for to develop the power by using the coal. So, but that alternate energy sources, sorry, non-conventional energy sources is we don't know till how many years we can able to extract from the earth ore. So maybe according to this survey, they are suggesting that from 2000 or maybe in the next 40 to 50 years. So there is no chances of getting any fuel. So at that time, what would be the condition? So we need to stick on to the alternate energy sources. For example, if you take any vehicles now almost all the companies are manufacturing the electric sources. Means in order to overcome the fuels, right? Whether it might be a petrol or a diesel, if you are not able to get the petrol or diesel, how we can able to run the vehicles? So that is the reason they already shifted to the electricity. That is by using the batteries, we can able to run the vehicle. That is by using the alternate energy sources. So similarly, to develop the more power in order to meet the demand of the country, where that is means in the country, so the mainly they are depending upon the alternate sources of energies. So by using this with the help of this alternate sources energy, we can able to develop or to at least we can able to meet the requirement what is the power demand is required, so we can able to meet those requirements.